Hi everyone, welcome to TechieWorld. So in the Java 16 new feature series, we have already discussed sealed classes, record, and warning for value-based classes. Today we are going to discuss two new topics: pattern matching for the instance of operator, and also add Stream.toList method. In the next video, we'll come up with the vector API incubator. Okay, so today we are going to discuss pattern matching for instance of operator. So let us move to the topic. Pattern matching for instance of operator actually came in Java 14 as a preview feature. In Java 15, it continued as a preview feature, but in Java 16, it's a part of the standard delivery. Okay, so I already discussed in the previous video what is the difference between a preview feature and a standard delivery. Okay, so if you have not watched the video, you can go back and watch that video. Okay, so the main purpose of pattern matching is reduce the boilerplate code. And how it does that, let's see. So let us have a look on some of the theoretical part that we have about pattern matching for instance of operator. First point about pattern matching for instance of is Java 14 introduces instance of operator to have type test pattern as it is a preview feature. I already told you that it actually first came in Java 14 as a preview feature. It continued in the Java 15 as a preview feature only. Now, the second point about pattern matching is type test pattern has a predicate to specify a type with a single binding variable. Now, what does the second point mean? I'll actually explain you when I'll explain you the code. Okay. The third point about pattern matching for instance of operator is it continues as a preview feature in Java 15 as well. Now, with the Java 16, this feature is a part of standard delivery. So, we'll see two code demo like before the instance of operator and the pattern matching that came in Java 16, what we used to write, and after this new function, what we can write and how it reduces the boilerplate code. So if you see on the left side, before, let us say we have an object which is containing a string called TechieWorld. Okay, and in the if block, you are just trying to check whether this object is a instance of a string or not. If it is, then you are casting that TechieWorld into a string and then doing some logic. But the extra line that is coming here, you can see string t equal to string obj, this casting and then assignment of this t variable with the object. Now after this feature, what we can write is object obj equal to take equal, it's the same example, but in the if block, if you can see object instance of string str, so you are able to assign this object with the variable str here itself in the if block itself. Okay, so basically you are reducing one line of code, right? You are optimizing your code by one line. So that's the main difference between pattern matching for instance of operator. Now let's have a brief code demo on this and then we'll move to the next topic. So let's go on IDE and we'll have a brief code demo. To save the time, I have already written the brief code. Like I have written the class instance of demo. I have written the main method which is required to run any Java program. And then I have written two methods, that is without instance of feature change and with instance of feature change. Now, what we used to do without instance of feature change? Let us write a code and try to understand. So let us say we are writing object obj equal to, in the string we'll try to write the same. Okay, TechieWorld. Now let us say if you want to check if this object is object instance of a string, then you want to perform some action, and then what we'll do is string str equal to obj. Okay, and then you will get a compile time error because you need to specifically cast it. Okay, typecast it. So to typecast it, you just need to write a string there, and then let us say you are trying to print this string. Okay, or rather in the next line, let us say you are trying to print the length of the string. Okay, now let us run this code to understand the first point. So the first point is without, and then we'll run this code. Okay, run as Java application. So if you see here, you are getting TechieWorld and 11. Okay, now with the instance of operator, what changes they have made in Java is, we'll take the same example, we'll copy from here itself. Okay, and we'll remove this line. Okay, and here we will write str. Now if you can see, here we have extra line, line number 12. Okay, and here we don't have that extra line of assigning the variable and typecasting it the string. It is being done in this if block here itself, right? If you can see. So that is the one line that they have removed. We can say it's a boilerplate code which is being removed. Okay. Now to segregate these two, let me write a separator. Okay. And then let us call this with instance of feature. Okay. And once you run this, you will get the same output. Run as Java application. See, you are getting the same output, but here you have reduced in the second method, you have reduced one line of code. That is assignment of the variable and typecasting the variable into the string. So that's a very small change that Java people actually came up with. So that's all about instance of operator that is changed in Java 16. Okay. Now let us move to the stream.toList method added in Java 16. So the second topic that we're going to discuss today is added a stream.toList method in the Java 16. So basically the purpose of this method is also the same. That's why I clubbed these two topics together. The purpose of this method is to reduce the boilerplate code. Okay. How it reduces the boilerplate code? So if you remember earlier what we used to do, if you want to collect something into the string, we used to do stream dot collectors dot toList, or you want to collect in the set, then stream dot collectors dot toSet or collect dot collectors dot toMap, right? So we actually had to write that collect dot collectors extra every time, whether you are collecting it in a list or set or map. Okay, that problem has been optimized with this new method is stream dot to list. So you don't need to now collect and use the collectors to collect that variable into the string. So now let us see how it affects our coding. So if you have a look on this, the first point about add stream.toList method, the aim is to reduce the boilerplate code with some commonly used stream collectors such as collect.collectors.toList or collectors.toSet. That's what I already told you. Okay. So let us say you have a list of string that is 10, 20, and 30. It is actually a number, but we are adding it as a string. Now, what you want to do is you want to convert this string into the list of number and store it in list. That is the only requirement and print it somewhere. Okay. So here if you see, before we had this stream.toList, what we used to do, we used to open the stream on the nums. Okay, and then we used to call parseInt method to parse the string into integer, and then we used to do this collect.collectors.toList. Now after the introduction of toList method into the stream, what we can do, we can directly call the stream, and obviously we need to call the parseInt method to convert this string into the integer, and then we can directly call the toList. You don't need to call this collect.collectors.toList. So actually you have reduced close to two words, which actually in a way optimized your code. Okay, to understand it in a better way, let's go to IDE and we'll do a small code demo. Okay, so to save the time, I have written a class and the main method which is required to run any Java program, and I have written before toList and after toList. So let us take the same example that we were talking in the slide. Okay, so let's say it's a list of string. Okay, and we will say list equal to arrays dot as list, and in this we are going to add few string. Let us say we added 10, then we added 20, and then we added 30. Okay, and the purpose of this method is to print the integers available here, not the string. To convert this list of string into the list of number, what we can do, we can write a list of integer. Okay, let us call it as a list1 equal to, we can say list, the list that is the list of string dot stream, and then we can write map. Okay, and then we can write integer double colon operator, and then we can write parseInt, and then dot. Now since before it is, this method is belonging to before toList, so what we can do, we can write the collect, and within the bracket we can do collectors dot toList. Okay, So that's all that is required. Okay, now let us try to print this list1 dot for each, and the for each will make it num, and then we'll try to call the sysout to print this, and we are printing the num. Okay, so if I run this code, before running this code, let me call this method inside the main method, otherwise it will not run. Okay, so let us try to run this code now. It should return 10, 20, and 30. You can see it is returning 10, 20, and 30. Okay, and what changes it made after the introduction of toList method to the string? So we'll copy the same code here, and what we will do, we will just remove this collect.collectors.toList, and we will add toList here, and just one semicolon is required. And then just to make the distinction between these two, I'll just add one separator, which will be a star. And then let us call this after toList. Now, if you see here in the line number 23, and if you compare this line number 23 with the line number 16, you can see you have written less code compared to line number 16, because here you are writing collect collectors.toList, and if it is a set, you will write collectors.toSet, right? So that's why if you see here, it is actually a removal of the boilerplate code, which is collect.collectors.toList that you used to write in everywhere with the stream. Now toList method is directly added to the stream, so you don't need to write all that. Okay, so now let us try to run this code and try to see how it works. So if you run this, you can see in the both cases you are getting same 10, 20, and 30, but in the second case you are writing comparatively less code. So that's the improvement that they came up with in Java 16. So that's all for today. If you want the code and the notes shown in this video, please do comment your email ID and you will get this within 24 hours. Also, I'll be posting more such informative video on this channel. So if you found this video helpful, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.